Okay, let us make a point that we have the book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas with you. Okay, most of you already know what is Bodhicitta and what is Bodhicitta Day. Tibet House, since last year, we began with this. We introduced the Bodhicitta Day in connection with the advice given by His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 2013, during which time His Holiness asked me personally that when Tibet House organizes some bigger programs, you can also make a point that the Bodhicitta undertaking the ceremony of Bodhicitta aspiration Bodhisattva vow happens. Okay, so it is in this connection that we started this Bodhicitta Day in Tibet House, and so this day, Bodhicitta Day, in the first place, the Bodhicitta, we need to have the very clear understanding as to what Bodhicitta is. Bodhi is the full awakening. Full awakening. Say the gold when mixed with the soil. When mixed with the soil, you don't see the gold glowing. Although there's the gold there, but you don't see the gold glowing. Only when the dirt or the soil, the mixture is removed, then the gold inside starts to glow. Likewise, when we remove the metal dirts, then the gold inside, which is the purity comes out. And when the dirt is removed completely, then the full awakening or the full purity becomes manifest. So this full purity is known as the Buddha, or the full awakening, full enlightenment. Is the fully blossomed state of ultimate happiness. This is the Bodhi and Chit, Bodhicitta. Chit means the mind which aspires to achieve that state of the awakening. Awakening for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of all sentient beings, including your parents, your family members, your children, and everyone. Okay, this is the basic idea. And the Bodhisattva Shantideva very clearly indicated that the Buddhas of the three times, they reflected so well as to what would be the greatest benefit, what would be the greatest meaning out of one's life. They unanimously found the awakening of the Bodhi inside, the aspiration to achieve Bodhi. That is greatest meaning. So what we are doing today is of the greatest meaning. If we think carefully, is of the greatest meaning, and depending on how much each one of us extract, let's say the maximum out of this coming together. Say in some cases who are well exposed to the studies and the reflection and the meditation on bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, you will see that this is of the greatest, is incredibly of great value. And those of us who may not be so much exposed to the study, reflection, meditation, but simply by taking part in this program, simply by being a part of this program, we will learn a great deal as to what I should be doing, how should I be proceeding my life to make my life meaningful. Okay, with this in mind, what I'm saying is that we are all very fortunate, including myself. We are all very fortunate that we are taking part in this Bodhicitta, the Bodhicitta Day, which consisted of taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow and also say Tsok offering together. And taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, this is the main part. And soul offering, it is offering the best that we can think of towards all the enlightened beings, so that the obstacles which can potentially the hamper in a journey of enlightenment, in a journey of the extracting greater meaning of our life, these obstacles are gone rid of, and that the energy to pursue through this journey will be vitalized, will be invigorated. So this is there's a tremendous benefit in including this soul offering at the end of this program. So with that in mind, let's turn to this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, page 3, setting a proper motivation. Setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts. The refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. Refuge field. Refuge field meaning the refuge field meaning the sources of inspiration. Reflecting on all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Reflecting on Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arya Maitreya, Arya Manjushri, Arya Avalokiteshvara, then the Arya Vajrapani, Arya Kishidkarma, Arya Nagarjuna, then the Arya Sangha, the Arya Deva, then the Acharya Dharmakirti, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Sharadeva, all these are enlightened beings. Even if you may not be able to identify who each of these the enlightened beings are, just in your mind, imagine that the sky in front of you is filled with these enlightened beings. And how you visualize them, that makes all difference. Visualize them, visualize these enlightened beings the way you would imagine your mother. The mother or father, whoever is very, very kind to you, so loving and caring. Just imagine that all these beings, they are as though like watching you, where the mother is watching her very tender young child. So that will they give a quality to the practice of your refuge. Number 2 is the Bodhicitta. Visualize your 2 parents on the 2 sides. Visualize all your family members, including your children, and everyone around you, all sentient beings around you. And again, the next point, how you visualize them. Here, you are the mother, and all others are like your children. And imagine that they come home demoralized from the children in the school, the elder children in the school, bullying you, and then you come home demoralized, but your mother is waiting there with so much tender love, affection, care, and embrace. So this is how we should visualize ourselves, in relation with all the dear sentient beings. And the purpose of this practice is finally to be kind to yourself and to be wisely kind to yourself. To be kind to yourself and to be wisely kind to yourself. What do you mean by kind to yourself, to be wisely kind to yourself? Means that each one of us, we have the treasure, the seed of treasure, the treasure of ultimate happiness within each one of us. As long as the beggar underneath the very simple hut, underneath the floor, there may be a massive wealth there, massive treasure there. But as long as the beggar does not discover that, the beggar remains a beggar. The moment he or she discovers that, he or she is no more beggar. Likewise, each one of us, we have this incredible treasure within us. This treasure within us, if you believe it or not, it is like comparing. It is equivalent to comparing the diamond in the showroom and the diamond in the ditch. Both 1 kg each. For the ordinary people, there's a difference. Ramen showroom is so variable. Ramen the ditch, you said this is very dirty. But in the eyes of the experts, there's no difference. Expert will simply move the diamond from the ditch, clean it up, and put it in the showroom. That becomes the diamond of the showroom. So likewise, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the enlightened beings, they are like the diamonds in the showroom, and we are like the diamonds in the ditch. So our job is to identify that and remove the mental dirt, remove the superficial dirt, and let the diamond, precious diamond inside come out. That is our purpose. So that is known as the seeking the awakening. So with that in mind, and imagine that you are leading this prayer, you are leading this practice, and all your two parents, your children, everyone, all sentient beings are joining you. You're inspiring everybody in this journey. In this journey of extracting the greatest meaning out of your life. With that in mind, let's turn to page 3. And teach by great compassion, you taught that Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught that Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught that Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes souls helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue and expand a variety of teachings, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyabso Jinzo Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Penjere Sangye Dubaresho Sangye Choda Soge Chonam Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyabso Dage Jinzo Gebe Sonam Dola Penjere Sangye Dubaresho Sangye Choda Soge Chonam Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyabzo Dage Jinzo Gebe Sonam Dola Penjere Sangye Dubaresho. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha all sentient beings. Okay, we are going to recite this mantra, and most of you already know the meaning of the mantra. But those of us who are new to this mantra is so precious. In fact, the Buddha at one point does say within this book, you will see the inclusion of the Sutra on dependent origination. So this sutra is exclusively meant to teach the benefit of this mantra. So this mantra is so precious, and we, the one way or the other, we are bound to face with difficulties, challenges, and so forth. Okay, didn't you like better? Didn't you know? Magadi nearly mate, the mirror, chatting as with the level change. The level type, the Kadain put up on Chisida, the some Tamils not. Right, okay. So this mantra is so precious. We are bound to face with difficulties here and there. You hear about, say, somebody is now diagnosed with the terminal illness, or somebody died, somebody met with an accident. All this bad news, we are bound and encounter with these things. It's not only something happening there in, what is that, the Spain church, Rotterdam. Notre Dame. So, they are unfortunate. But no, it is this unfortunate things can happen to all of us. Anyone, at any time, at any place. Right? So this is reality. So let us not wait till that happens to me, till that happens to each one of us. Let us not wait till that point. Why not we try to see this as a forewarning? And then accordingly look for ways and means how to get rid of these problems. So this mantra is so beneficial for yourself, for your family members, for everyone, even for, say, the Notre Dame there, people there. You can recite this mantra for them. We can recite this mantra for everyone, right? And particularly after knowing the meaning of this mantra, you recite this for anybody. This would be an incredible gift from your side, right? So, say for example, if somebody is hospitalized, then you may donate like 1 lakh rupees or 10,000 rupees as a medical aid. In fact, more so than that is if you recite this mantra once for that person, that would be far more beneficial to the patient, to the person. So likewise, people go through difficulties, right? Unnecessary difficulties. And you can say these for them, for yourself, for your family members, for everyone. So that's very, very, very precious mantra. So the meaning is, Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Ye Dharma, these phenomena, Hetu, cause, Prabhava, arise. Hetum Tesham Tathagato. Hetum, the plural form of these causes, Tesham, these, Tathagato, Hyavatat. Tathagato, referring to the Buddha, Hyavatat, said. What are the causes of these miseries? What are the causes of these phenomena? All these phenomena arise from the causes, respective causes. What these causes are is taught by the Tathagata. The causes in the form of contaminated karmas, meaning in the form of the undesirable physical actions, verbal actions, and mental actions. So these three finally, they attract all the miseries. For example, becoming sick and suffering from hunger, pain, thirst, accident, and cancer, illness, anxiety, stress, so forth. All these problems, somehow, they're attracted by our own mischievous actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions. This is the reality. Now, what triggers the physical, verbal, and mental, the wrong actions, is because of a thought process. For example, okay, this is something which we have to know. Let's say, okay, you ask me, oh, can I borrow your pen? Then there can be so many ways of, okay, like this. Number 2 is, oh, ticket. Number 3 is with so much respect. And number 4, not only respect, such a joy in, making you happy. So there are so many, all these actions, what determine that some actions are so kind, tender, some actions are so rude, right? So what determines all these different actions? Determined by your thought process. Do you agree with me? Your thought process determines what actions come out. So your thought process, they are responsible for these contaminated karmas, contaminated actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions. This thought process. So what makes these thought process, in the case of the thought process that the mother has towards the young tender child, the thought process of the mother is so tender, so beautiful. and the thought process of the competitors is not so beautiful. You're getting it? So this thought process, what makes this thought process, some of the thought process very tender, thought process meaning afflictions. Okay, listen, thought processes, some of them are very tender, beautiful, and some of them are very gross and aggressive. So this is gross and aggressive thought processes. They are known as afflictions, and the tender thought processes are known as virtues. So thought processes decide. What decides the thought processes to be like that? Some are good and some are not good. This is decided by your cognitive side of the mind. Cognitive, right? Seeing the dream is dream, your mind is not going to be disturbed. Seeing the dream is real, your mind is going to be affected. So that's cognitive side. See, the dream goes as real, then you end up in, miseries. You end up in miseries, and seeing the dream goes as dream, you are not affected by the dream goals. You are freed from the fear of the dream goals. So that is how the cognitive thought processes decides your emotional states. Your emotional states decide your behaviors, physical, verbal, mental behaviors, and your behaviors decide your state of mind, happy, unhappy, miseries, suffering, happiness, all decided by them. So this is so important. It doesn't matter what religion that you're following, whether you're following Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Jainism, Judaism, Christianity, or the Zoroastrianism, it doesn't matter. The final, all religions, what they tell us is that don't engage in the negative destructive thought, the destructive actions. Don't engage in the destructive thought processes, right? So this is what all the religions, they emphasize. If you practice this, you are the best of the Christians, you are the best of the Hindus, you are the best of the Muslims, you are the best of the Buddhists, you are the best of the Jains, you are the best of the Jews, you are the best of the non-believers, right? Whatever you're following, you become the wisest person. Wisest, being kind to yourself and being wisely kind to yourself. So with this in mind, let us recite this mantra. This mantra is so precious. And see, when you go to new places, you can recite the mantra for the people there. New places, for example, you take a flight from the airplane down there, you can cover almost entire Delhi. You can see the entire Bangalore, entire Mumbai. How many people are there? Minimum 30, 40 million people are there. 20 million people are there. So, and then not only the human beings, how many infinite creatures, insects, animals are there. And the non-human beings, non-tangible beings are there. We say this prayer, incorporating all these people in your mind. Right? It's so precious. So precious. Okay, and when you go by train, you end up, sometimes you end in places where it's so remote, you can see from the two sides, so remote. Had it not been for you, reciting this mantra for this person forever in this life, in the former lives, the later lives, is deprived of the opportunity to meet with this beautiful teaching of the dependent origin mantra. So therefore, you are like the link, you are like the angel, you are like the connection for them to be connected with the virtuous thoughts, virtuous actions, and eventually the ultimate happiness. Okay, with that in mind, you are leading this, and imagine all sentient beings are joining you, and they informing them of this mantra, and to act according to this mantra. Okay. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavan hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava tesham tatha gato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lighted. Natural light dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the words. Beyond our trends, thought and expression is a perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the ultimate apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, or the three times of the obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expansive beings, the aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realization is not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of such things that the beings are liberated. Okay, this connection is very important for us not to forget this stanza. Forget this stanza in Tibetan. Tunna dibo chui mitrishin, doe dunge chagi misela. Nige toba shena pominde. Okay, this is a very precious stanza. What this stanza is saying is that finally our life, if we are not really prudent, if we're not really careful, if we're not really being aware of our life, we see that our life passes swiftly. Meaning that somebody as young as Keshav, how old are you, Keshav? 9 years old. Okay, the youngest member today is Keshav. 9 years old. 9 years old. I remember myself when I was 9 years old. Now I'm no more 9 years old. Right. Okay. So what I'm saying, from 9 years till today, I'm now 51. Right? From 9 years to 51, how the time passes is just like a dream. It's not just me, each one of us. We also had the time when we were once 9 years old. Right? Okay, so once you were 5 years old, right? Yeah. From there, now time flew. You're getting it? So if we are not prudent, how our time flies, then every day is like the same. Okay, I could do tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And then white hair starts to come here, there, and after a while, still. I think that I'm the younger one in the younger generation, and the younger generations come and they look at you. How come that you are with us, right? And then you realize that okay, I'm no young. Okay, this is how the time flies, and then we start to regret. How I wish that I've used my prime of my life, at least part of the prime of my life, on the exploring Vedharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena and miseries there are from the causes, and these causes, how to bring an end to the causes. I should have actually put some effort in this, and to extract greater meaning out of one's life. So as I grow older, from age 20 to 30 to 40 to 15, as I grow older, I become happier. How to extract this meaning? This meaning, the stanza says, the Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings. We can't expect that a guru comes and pour some water, holy water on you, and your negativities are removed, and you become an enlightened being. No chance. Nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. And don't expect, like the doctors, they remove your tumor. Likewise, the Buddhas, they remove your negativities, right? And you don't do, no, this is impossible. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. And the Buddha, somebody who is fully awakened, he transfers, for example, the parents, they share their wealth with the children. Likewise, the Buddhas, they share the enlightenment with you or the spirituality with you. Impossible. So how can we be benefited by the enlightened beings? It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. So if we are not being prudent, the tendency with us is that we tend to see every day the same. We just see that every day is the same. Okay, I'm still young. What was the difference between yesterday and today? Right? We continue to say like this, and eventually, we become a little, the haggard. We become, the sick, and then you start. What happened? Right? I'm not as competent as the young, as healthy, as physically strong as somebody aged like 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, how did I waste my time? Too late. Now the time is that wise person are those who could see this third line. No, fourth line which reads, it is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. The wise people should see this line. Okay, now this is where I need to put effort to make sure that my life doesn't go waste. Truth of the suchness. And the suchness, ultimate reality, is not something that somebody can, just give you some tips and then suddenly you have an awakening. This is impossible. It is only through a series of studies, reflection, and meditation. That is required. So with that in mind, only if we are able to do that. For example, today, Bodhicitta Day, so we are all a part of this. We are very fortunate. Including myself. We are all very fortunate that we are part of this Bodhicitta retreat, Bodhicitta the Day. So we are getting the opportunity to read these and to remind us what's the greater meaning out of your life. What's the greater meaning, right? So with this in mind, then see that observing this Bodhicitta Day. Otherwise, we can observe this Bodhicitta Day every day. If we make it every day, then people not come, right? Then it becomes like, what do you call it? Everyday cup of tea, right? Okay, we may not value as much. Whereas if we do it once and then if we don't value this, this will not become a source of a reminder for us. Whereas this day, when observed once in a month, it will become a great reminder for us. We come with a great sense of value, and the fact that you come, that itself is a great indication that each one of us, we have a tremendous positive karma connected with Bodhicitta. We are all very fortunate, no doubt. And I see some of the new faces. Otherwise there are many people who are associated with Tibet House, but then of these, for the Bodhicitta Day, a new face comes here, which means that or somebody who comes rarely suddenly shows up here for the Bodhicitta Day, which means that you have a karmic connection with Bodhicitta, which is so precious. Okay, so with this in mind, we'll continue reading the following stanzas. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, let us turn to page 14. To to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, prostrate mid offerings to go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born in this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, wind of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme art science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just be like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata prostrate. The purity that frees one from the attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies are prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha are prostrate. To not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream of flash lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the ways of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, page 29, Heart Sutra. This is so precious sutra. As we recite this, let us not miss the 3 points. Point 1 is the question asked by Shariputra to Avalokiteshvara. Number 2, the response given by Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra. Number 3, what's the benefit? What's the benefit if we practice as indicated by Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra? The first part, the question asked by Shariputra is, how should the child of the lineage practice the professional wisdom? So the child of lineage here refers to, okay, let's say, in the olden times, the young prince, say age 2, 3, 4, young prince who doesn't know anything of the world, but is being respected so much. Why? Because this child is eventually going to become the king. So he is the holder of the king's lineage. Likewise here, we speak about the child of the lineage. Who's that child of the lineage? Lineage is the lineage of kings, no? It's the lineage of the fully awakened being. Lineage of the fully awakened being, the Buddhas. Buddhas doesn't mean Buddhism. It simply means somebody who is awakened. Somebody who has awakened the seat of perfection within. That is a Buddha. Now, the child of the lineage. Who is the child of the lineage? Anybody who aspires, who makes commitment to become Buddha. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, Bodhicitta. May I become Buddha, that is Bodhi. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, the purpose. And this mind aspiring to achieve that goal, that is Bodhicitta. Anybody who generates this Bodhicitta is known as the child of the lineage. So, child of the lineage in the context of the prince holding the lineage of the king, child of the lineage in the context of the following the path, generating this desire to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, in the context of becoming Buddha. Of the 2 lineages, the lineage of the Buddhas is far more precious than the lineage of the kings. So therefore, everybody, although we may not be the lineage of the kings, but for sure we can become the lineage of the Buddhas, lineage of the fully awakened beings. So each one of us, we are so precious in that context. So with this mind, I say once you become the child of the lineage by making this commitment, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. When you make this commitment, the next question: what are you going to do? What will you do to become Buddha? So for that matter, you have to remove the mental defilements. The Buddhahood is inside. The gold is inside this mixture. Only your job is to remove the dirt, remove the soil. The gold inside will become manifest. Likewise, remove the metal dirt and the Buddhahood inside will come out. The Buddhahood is actually within each one of us. Why it is not manifest as of now is because that is mixed with the soil of the metal dirt. So job is to remove the metal dirt and the Buddhahood inside will come out. Okay, how to do that? How to remove the metal dirt so that Buddhahood inside becomes manifest? So that is by resorting to the counterforce of the mental defilements. Mental defilements, they are rooted in ignorance. So the counterforce is the wisdom. So what is that wisdom? Wisdom, the wisdom, perfection of wisdom. Wisdom to see everything as like a dream. Okay, so this is what we should be. This is the question asked by Shariputra. How should the child of the lineage, how should the child of the lineage practice the professional wisdom? Then Avalokiteshvara gave the response. Point number 2, not a miss. Avalokiteshvara gave the response that the child of the lineage should practice the professional wisdom by seeing everything like a dream, so that you are not going to be affected by the dream. In the dream, you don't see the dream as dream. Only when you wake up, you see the dream as dream. Only when you wake up, you're not going to be affected by the dreams. When you're in the dream, you're affected by the dreams. So how not to be affected by the dreams is by coming out of the dream. Likewise, how not to be affected by attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth is by coming out of the dream of the ignorance. Okay, so that is what Avalokiteshvara gave such a detailed exposition on waking up from the sleep of ignorance. Then point number 3, not a miss. What's the benefit if you practice as indicated by Avalokiteshvara? So just as you come out of the dream, your fears dissolve. Fears of the ghosts chasing you, nightmare, dissolve. Likewise, you see everything like a dream. The fear of life, sickness, aging, death, depression, tension, anxiety, anguish, all will dissolve. You reach the state of transcendence. You transcend all the limitations, all the flaws of samsara and achieve the state of total perfection, where the diamond inside comes out fully without metal dirt at all. Okay, these are 3 points not to miss as we recite this, and this is so precious. Finally, if somebody asks you what is the final meaning of one's life, you see the essence of what is taught there in Heart Sutra. This is the final meaning of life. Anybody who is grabbing this essence is wise. Anybody who's running away from this essence is unwise. As simple as that. Right? Okay. With our mind, let's recite this. It's very fortunate on the part of all of us that we are reciting this together by reflecting on these 3 points. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I had one time. The Buddha was dwelling on the Mass of Vultures mountain at Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Master and behold, there's 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the path of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form Form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, fading, discrimination, composite factors, and empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without unseen, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no fading, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object. There is no I element and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, there is the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifest the complete awakened, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. Mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared Yatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Bodhi Swaham. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arvadugitishvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas will rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arvadugitishvara, those around in the entirety, all over the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite this mantra together 7 times, let us visualize Buddha Shakyamuni exhorting us thus. Don't remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Come towards ultimate happiness. Imagine the mother telling the child, don't worry, come, I'm there, I'm with you. So hearing this melodious voice of the Buddha Shakyamuni, you are so inspired, you are so happy, you're just filled with such an incredible joy and exuberance. Then you inspire your 2 parents, you inspire all the eternal ascension beings, your children, and everyone in this universe. Let us not stay in samsara anymore. Let us all go towards where the Buddha Shakyamuni, our kind teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is. Let us go towards that awakening. Let us go towards the perfection of the joy, perfection of happiness. Then all others hearing what you are saying, they are so inspired, they join you in this journey of cleansing the mind to pursue towards the full awakening. With that in mind, let's recite this 7 times. Yatha Om Gati Gati Para Gati Para Samgati Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels, possessing power of the truth, may in and outer hindrance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the whole to 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may all spaciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verse mind training, the next page, page 32. Okay, this practice is particularly to calm down the mind. What invigorates the mind is the self-referential ego. That is one which actually disturbs the mind. And that self-referential ego gives rise to anger, and the anger disturbs the mind. Here, what we are learning is how to undermine the anger. So if you read it on the surface, we make an impression that it's very self-denial, it's rejecting the self, it's denying the self, all that happens, good things and so forth. But this is not. It is superficial reading. The deeper the reflections, through deeper reflections, we come to realize that this is the best and the most effective way by which to undermine the self-referential ego, and that thus the anger subsides and the room for the say depression, anger, then the anxiety, stress, they all are cut down. So this is a very skilled way of undermining the self-referential ego. Meanwhile, the self-confidence must not be undermined. Self-confidence is so precious. In other words, the self is so precious, self-referential ego is destructive. We are not equated to things. We destroy the self-referential ego, but don't destroy the self. The self is so precious. The self has the capacity to become Buddha. The self has the capacity to benefit all sentient beings. So this self is so precious. Maintain the self-confidence, subdue our self-referential ego. Okay, with that in mind, let's recite this. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as a low with someone's soul, and from the very depths of my heart, respectful of all others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negative and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I place great hopes misses me in extreme hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my two collections, vast the space that were amassed, from working with effort at this great, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds were blinded by ignorance. Okay, the next 7 the practice. 7 practice. I bow down to you, for I am a usury. You alliance amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many atoms of the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas, numberless as atoms. Each atom is a host of bodhisattvas. And I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sagathas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, offered to you victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. Where transcendent offerings, peerless and fast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, before you, I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here are still training and those beyond, and of all the ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana. Please stay with us for aeons numberless as atoms in the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering, confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all these for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, mantle offering. Teacher, do you have the timer? With the gong. With the gong? Yes.
Set it for how long, Geshe?
No, it's not with this special gong.
It has a gong.
Okay, the 2 minutes. What's the sound of the gong like? Like the bell gong?
Yes.
Good. 2 minutes.
It's set for 2 minutes.
Okay, sound. Okay, mantle offering together. As you do the mantle offering, imagine that you're offering everything good the universe has to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, so those of you who do not know how to, this gesture is not really important, right? If you know, do it. If you don't know, it doesn't matter. And if you want to learn, you can learn after this session, right? Okay. Other mentally, what is more important is mentally visualizing anything that good that you can think of in this universe, that you are offering them to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. This ground anointed with perfumes, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Saji Dorji Damdul. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps a true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as the viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Rana Mendela Gamnirati Amen. Okay. Now the actual practice, finally what we should be practicing on a daily basis, lifelong practice, in order to see that we become happier and happier. We see that one's life is of great meaning, for that matter. These 14 stanzas under this, they are extremely precious. We'll recite this. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow, no virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. That to teaching and keeping the Pratimoksha vows, please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into the sea of samsara, so for all mother migrated beings, please bless me to see this trained in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migrated beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vow with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the Supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. Please bless me to protect these vows and pleasures of life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and his spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, I enjoy the manifesting Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of the path, by quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, we will say this mantra. Before this, we will read the meaning of the mantra first. This pertains to Lama Tsongkhapa, the author of the text which we are studying as a part of the Nandana Master's course. The text, the Umagumbarapsa, revered as the embodiment of Avalokiteshvara, the treasure trove of compassion, and as a Manjushri, the treasure trove of the wisdom, and as Vajrapani, the treasure trove of the power. So this is how the Lama Tsongkhapa, the author of this great enlightened beings, is revered all over the world, or all over Tibet. So let us pray, invoke His blessings, invoke His wisdom and compassion, so that each one of us be inspired to follow the teachings of Buddha and eventually achieve the highest state of happiness to benefit all beings. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Sankaba, crown jewel of the stages of the land of snows, Losantaba, at your feet I make prostrate. Lo sai ta be cha lai so va de me te re che re se te me kembe o mo jande yang kanje ke de zu ge zu ga bo lo sai ta be cha lai so va de no santa be shaglai so de. Okay, now the summarizing everything of what we did thus far, and in the form of the essence, quintessential, the form is to generate the mind of consuming yoga, Tamjit Nature Simkyaba, which is so precious. And if we can do it on a daily basis in this world, perhaps we can say that you are the most meritorious person if you can do this on a daily basis. So what we're doing now. So therefore, this is how we can be wisely kind to yourself, and this is how to extract the greatest meaning out of one's life. So with that in mind, what we need to do is we have 4 points to keep in mind. One is the single point of meditation, Shamatha. Number 2 is the renunciation. Number 3 is the Bodhicitta. Number 4 is the wisdom of emptiness. If we have these 4 practices incorporated within one-day practice, this is the greatest holistically greatest meaning out of one's life. And there's nothing greater than this. You may be, say, in a solitude in the Himalayas, or you may be in a city, town, wherever you are. If you're able to do these 4 things on a daily basis, that is the greatest, the meaning. And that is the meaning of your life. So with that in mind, first we'll do a single point of meditation. Okay, so what we do? Press, begin, press it. Okay. Single point of meditation. For that, I'll give up maybe there may be one or two when okay, just raise your hands, those who are not exposed to any meditation before. Okay, raise your hands, those who have some exposure to meditation in your life. Raise your hands. Okay, so I'll give a quick instruction, very simple meditative instruction. 4 points to keep in mind. One is the body posture. So there, body, okay, one body posture. Number 2 is focal point. Number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4 is applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points to keep in mind. One body posture. Of the body posture, the most important thing, if you can sit cross-legged, well and good. If not, it's fine. What's most important thing is the body upright. Body must be upright. Body should not be bent like this. It should be upright, and if possible, not leaning against the support. If possible, not leaning against the support. Okay, this is very important. The moment you lean against the support, you see that your mind, the rigor, the freshness disappears. And then your head tilted forward a little bit. Your eyes not closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and ignore. Eyes not closed. 45 half open, 45 degrees cast down, and ignore. Just leave it there. The tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. And the teeth and the lips, keep them in their natural course. Breathe naturally. Don't force your breath. Don't control your breath. Breathe naturally. And keep your right hand on the left hand. Keep your right hand on the left hand. And the tips of the two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands on the laps in restful state. And while your body is upright, it should be flexible. Okay, this is the body posture. The next is on the focal point. What are you going to meditate on? There are so many kinds of meditation. The one that we are doing here is a very simple one, yet very beneficial. Say, one, visualize very tiny dot, tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter, between nose and the upper lip. Just touch the spot there. Touch the spot between nose and the upper lip. This is the place where you're going to visualize this tiny dot, tiny white dot. While your eyes are not looking at it, your eyes are just 45 degrees cast down and ignore. It's your mental consciousness. Now, while you're not seeing the India Gate, you can still visualize that. That mind, which is used to visualize the India Gate now, that is the mind which you're going to meditate, not the eye consciousness. So that mind should visualize on the tiny dot, tiny white dot between your nose and upper lip. So those who can, then we go for multitasking, which means while you're focusing your mind on the tiny dot between your nose and the lip, upper lip, multitasking, count your breath, simultaneously count your breath. Breath in, breath out, cycle 1, breath in, breath out, cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, the count can go to like 32 cycles. Okay, this is what we're going to meditate on. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. While you attempt to meditate, there can be errors. Unless you identify the errors, your meditation can go really bad, and it may not be advisable to do meditation if you don't identify the errors. What errors? 2 errors. Mental laxity and mental scattering. Mental scattering or mental excitement, where your mind becomes overactive, your mind starts to be scattered here and there. This is one part. The other one is mental laxity, where your mind becomes passive. Your mind is overly withdrawn inside, and then it tends to sink, it tends to fall asleep, drowsy, and so forth. This is mental laxity. Should any of these 2 things happen, go for number 4. Number 4 is applying the remedies. Remedies twofold: introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is Sheshin, mindfulness is Temba. Tenshe, Temba and Sheshin. So, once in a while, check your mind to see if your mind is scattered here and there, or else your mind is sleeping, drowsy, or the mind is still meditating. If you see that the mind is scattered or is in a lax state, then apply the mindfulness. Job of the mindfulness is to bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation, which is the tiny dot between nose and upper lip, and meanwhile counting the breath. Okay, this is what we're going to do for 2 minutes. Ready? Okay. Okay, thank you. And now we will do the renunciation. In Tibetan, we call it Ngejung Samba. Renunciation. We do the renunciation. Renunciation usually can be done associated with the Lamrim practice, but because it's a group meditation, we need to have a little bit of time management. For that matter, we do that on the basis of 4 seals. The basic essence is just the same. The 4 seals. They'll be very compact, comprehensive, and also very powerful. Okay, the 4 seals is going to be more like a guided meditation. Our job is just to follow the instructions to the best you can and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences to the best you can. It doesn't mean that as the guidance is given, and then you follow it, and then you have the surge of such the miraculous experience. Let us not expect that. Right? So even if nothing really happens, it doesn't matter. Is this how we proceed? True? And the whole purpose of one, that we do this Bodhicitta the day here, mainly because of the inspiration blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Number 2, that in Delhi I came across many people who are so keen to extract a meaning, to give a meaning to one's own life, but then because of their family responsibilities, because of the young children, so therefore they cannot leave Delhi. And we do this practice almost everywhere we go for the Bodhicitta retreat and other retreats. Like now, say one is happening in Deer Park, and it's happening in Bodh Gaya, Root Institute, and very soon happening in France, Israel, and then in Malaysia. So in all these places, the same practice is happening. Whereas many of the people in Delhi, they cannot come to these places because of the responsibilities, household responsibilities, the usual for children, your job, and so forth. So to cater to their need, this Bodhicitta day is observed on that day for that purpose. Okay, with that mind, whole purpose is for us to know how to design one's own daily practice. Once you do this together for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, then you will know how to do it on a daily basis. And then there you are. Your job is simply to enrich this further through further studies and so forth, but the practice remains the same. Okay, with that in mind, the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings to practice the renunciation. Okay. And this will be good for us to know as to why we are doing this. Why the single point meditation? Why renunciation? Why bodhicitta? Why wisdom emptiness? Some of you might be wondering, and some of you already know. The basic idea is, as we said, all our job, whatever we're doing, is to get rid of all our suffering. This is the point. And how to get rid of all suffering? By getting rid of the ultimate cause of suffering. And how to get rid of the ultimate cause of suffering? What's the ultimate cause of suffering? Ignorance and self-esteem. How to get rid of the ignorance is by introducing counter force. What's the counter force? The wisdom of emptiness. So we have to meditate on wisdom of emptiness. And the wisdom of emptiness, there must be a driving force. Otherwise, we study, we practice for 1 or 2 days. We are so keen on the practice. And again, the practice slowly lapses, disappears. Why? Enthusiasm is not there. We don't have this enthusiasm. What drives the enthusiasm? We need something to drive us. That is a bodhicitta, the desire to work for all sentient beings. Bodhicitta requires a drive to push this wisdom of emptiness for us to continue to practice this till the result is achieved. Bodhicitta is required. This bodhicitta is the desire to become Buddha for all sentient beings, to remove the suffering of all sentient beings. For that matter, first of all, we must have the experience on ourselves to see your own suffering. So that your suffering is so unbearable, this must be overcome. So desiring to get rid of your suffering is known as renunciation. So in the renunciation. So bodhicitta must be supported by renunciation. So these two are required as the driving force, and actually what really helps us to achieve Buddhahood, that is the wisdom of emptiness. Now for the wisdom of emptiness should be like should be the counter force to overcome the darkness of the ignorance. To remove the darkness of ignorance, the wisdom that you're going to employ must be a very bright light of the wisdom. Bright light. This bright light should have 2 qualities. One is that it should be so bright. If the light is very feeble, like the light of incense, just incense, then you can't really use that light for reading books. So for us to be able to read the books, the light must be strong enough, very bright light. So the brightness is required. Number 2, although the light is very bright, for example, candle, the light is very bright, but from the corner there's a wind blowing and the light is very flickery. The light is bright, but if it's flickery, again it cannot be used, it cannot serve for us to read the books, because it's very disturbing to see that light is very flickering. So we need light to be, not only light to be bright, the light must be steady. Okay, so the steadiness is required, the brightness is required. For the steadiness, the light is none other than your own mind. Your mind should be the light. Your mind should be steady. Right? So this mind, which you're going to employ as a light to destroy this darkness of the ignorance, this mind in the form of the wisdom should have 2 qualities. One is the brightness, the wisdom, and the other one is the steadiness, the single-pointed meditation. So single-pointed meditation which we did, that is the that is the means to bring steadiness to our mind, and a wisdom which we'll do little later on after Bodhicitta, Renunciation Bodhicitta. Wisdom is the brightness of the light. With these two things, guarantee that the darkness and ignorance will be eradicated. Darkness and ignorance along with the subtle imprints. Once they're eradicated, then all the mental deformity, all the stains, all the dirt which come as a mixture with the gold, they're removed. Once the dirt is removed, the gold will come blazing with the light. So that is your achieving the state of full awakening and the Buddhahood. Okay, this is the whole purpose why we are doing these 4 practices. Okay, now the 4 seals. 4 seals is going to be a guided meditation, and for those of us, the point is that the way we are being guided now, we should be able to have this in our mind, and later on, when you're doing that by yourself, you should be able to guide yourself. Don't expect somebody else to guide you all the time. You'll be able to do that by yourself, on your own. Okay, ready? In the meditative posture, a single point of meditation, that is the Shamatha practice. Now, what we are doing is the analytical meditation. Analytical meditation. So there, our mind should be actively involved. Just follow the instructions to the best you can and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences. Okay, renunciation. Renunciation doesn't mean to renounce your happiness. Renunciation is to renounce your suffering, renounce your miseries, renounce your tension, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. For that matter, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. And to renounce causes of miseries, the best way is by following the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. The first seal, all composite things are impermanent. Impermanence is of 2 kinds, gross and subtle. The gross impermanence in the context of things coming into the termination of a continuum. In other words, the continuum of things coming to an end, that is gross impermanence. 2018, for some, that was a beautiful year, but now it's gone. The continuation of 2018 is gone. And beautiful day yesterday is gone. Beautiful day today is now coming to an end. And many of your friends, people you know in your life, very close to you, so dear, many of them are gone. They're gone forever. Beautiful sunset. People are so crazy after watching the beautiful sunset. But this is nothing but impermanence. You see it, and then that is followed by the darkness, total darkness, pitch darkness. Beautiful sunset disappears. That beautiful sunset of that day is gone forever. This is impermanence. You have your friends from the school. Many of them are gone. They are separated. And many of them even died. 200 years ago, there were people, for sure 200 years ago on this planet Earth, it was not 7 billion human beings, perhaps 5 billion human beings. Where are these 5 billion human beings? 200 years ago, there were people who were 20 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, 60, 70, 80. However, whatever age you are now, there were people of the same age 200 years ago. And parents, those days, have so much expectation on the children, from the children. They have so much plan for the children. Whether expectations, the plans are accomplished or not, they're all gone today. Not even a single person in those days. Not even the day one born child is alive today. They're all gone. Many of them, they're long forgotten, even from our memories. Now, it's not that they are the unfortunate ones. 200 years from now in the future, 7 billion human beings who exist today will not survive. Even a single one of them will not survive. Then everyone will be gone. It's totally new generation coming on this earth. We're all gone. This is impermanence. What makes this change happen so powerful to wipe all the 7 billion human beings within the span of 150 years or 200 years? It's because of a subtle impermanence, the momentariness that is governing, that serves as a governing body, the fabric of the determination to continue. What does it mean by momentariness? There's obvious change happening. The change that you see over 200 years is only if there is a change happening on the yearly basis. The change on the yearly basis is possible only if there is change happening on the hourly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, and millisecond by millisecond basis. So this is how the change governs the entire universe. So change that you see at the moment when we look at each other, we say so like they're so static, they are not changing, but actually they are changing, momentarily changing. This momentary change is as fine as the millisecond change happening on the millisecond level. A millisecond change is so fast that you can hardly see it. This is how your body is changing, your mind is changing, the people around you are changing. This is how the house that we live in are changing, death is changing, whole universe is changing so fast. There's nothing really there sitting so static. This is the impermanence. This is what the Buddha indicated as all composite things impermanent. If this is change, that governs, it's so scary. Yes, indeed. Imagine that one stranger, very strong stranger, grabs you and throws you in a very fast-moving train. What is your emotional reaction? So much of fear, undeniably, invariably arises. So much of fear, acute fear. The faster the train moves, more the fear. Why? Because we don't know where this train is taking us. This train may be taking us to a slaughterhouse. This train, for example, like during the Nazi period, so many people were just dumped into the train. Jews, they were dumped into the train and taken to the slaughterhouse. So this train moves so fast, maybe taking us to a slaughterhouse. Who decides? Yes, the driver decides. If the driver is a mother, for sure, this train will take you to a picnic spot. But if the driver is the kidnappers, the very nasty kidnappers, the terrorists, no doubt they will take us to the slaughterhouse. In our case, a driver is none other than our mind, and our mind is under the influence of the two terrorists like the defilements, the worst of the contaminations. The Buddha said, all contaminated things are suffering nature. Worst of contaminations, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is under the sway of these two demons, self-grasping and self-centered attitude, we will never be happy. They will only take us to the slaughterhouse miseries. Miseries like what? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, and the separation from the near and dear ones, and the pain of having to meet with the situations which are so excruciatingly painful. So this is what is meant by miseries. And when will these miseries stop? They will never stop unless we put concerted effort to bring end to these miseries. Why? Because these miseries, they come into being by a part of the causes, karmas, afflictions, and ignorance. As long as they don't come to an end, our miseries never come to an end. So which means that it'll just keep continuing, perpetuating. These miseries are perpetuating. Yes, of course, these are perpetuating. So one moment of such misery is good enough to nullify all the experience of happiness that we've been through our life. For example, say the pain of losing a very near and dear one, like a child or like your parents. That one moment of experience is good enough to nullify all the past experience of parties, joys, celebrations, jubilance, and so forth. It's just one moment is good enough. It'll make the whole world so gloomy and so meaningless and so dark. And when will this misery stop? It'll never stop on its own. It's like a perpetuating cycle. It'll never come to an end. Okay. But we can bring an end to this if you're wise. If you put a concerted, correct effort. What effort is required? For that, we need to know where this misery is started from. Start from where? Start from the self-grasping ignorance, the subtle stain. Bring an end to the self-grasping ignorance, the stains. How do we bring an end to this? It's by introducing the counter force. What's the counter force? The wisdom of emptiness. What's the wisdom of? What is this wisdom? The wisdom is the wisdom. Wisdom is the discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay, we'll quickly meditate on the reality of them. Of course, this meditation is going to be very gross for the time being, but it's so precious for us. This is going to be like the ember for starting the whole bonfire, the blaze of the bonfire of the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let us quickly meditate on emptiness of yourself. What are you doing? Just follow these instructions and try your best to invoke the respective experiences. Don't worry too much. Don't just reflect, ruminate over the past experiences. Don't hang over the anticipating for the future events. Just be in the present moment and follow instructions and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay, fine. Fine. Are you sure that you're meditating? Are you sure that your body is in meditative posture? Yes. And how does this person appear to you? Like a dream? Your mind is creating it? Like a movie being projected by the movie projector? Or nothing really like a movie projector? It's really as a painting. Something still there from his own side. The in and of itself. Of course. This stuff appears so solidly there. It's not really coming from a mind. It's not like a movie being projected by the movie projector. Okay, this is known as the self-grasping ignorance. Seeing the self so objectified there. This is ignorance. This is what attracts all the miseries, tension, depression, so forth. But how can I know that this perception is wrong? Good. If this perception is correct, let us not forget let us bring to our recollection of what Nagarjuna said. In the precious garden, Ranavali or Ranamala, Nagarjuna said, if the mirage were to be water, why not close by the mirage see water? From distance, if you look at me, you see that I'm in water. You want to evaluate if I'm really in water or what you're seeing is mirage. So how do you evaluate that? Cross-check that. It's by coming closer towards me, and if you see that there's no water there, it's just dry, you conclude that what you earlier saw as water was just a mirage, it was deception. Likewise, if this person would exist objectively, why don't I see this person as I go close to this object? With the same token of reasoning, the way Arundigarjuna said, if the mirage were to be water, why don't those close by the mirage see water? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Let us go closer to this person to see if this person exists. Going closer towards yourself, you see the first, you see the very thin layer of the skin. Of course, it's not me. I'm looking for this person, I, Dorji, or I, this person who's meditating. Okay, so this, whatever you see as something which is not a person, we're going to ignore, discard them. We're only looking for the person from the object side. By following this trend of analysis, we first see the very thin layer of the skin, which is not me. Of course, keep that aside. Behind that, we see the fatty tissues. That's also not me. Keep that aside. Behind that, we see the cartilages, the muscles, the flesh. Of course, these are not me. Keep them away. Behind that, I see the bone, the skeleton. None of these is, of course, none of these is me. Then I see the heart, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, intestine, kidney, gallbladder. None of these solid parts constitute me. Remove them. Now all the solid parts within me is not me. Solid parts, they constitute the element of earth. Element of earth is not me. Keep them aside. What do you see? Now the water, element of water. The blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course that is not me. Keep them aside. The element of water is not me. Now element of fire, the body heat. Of course the body heat is not me. People cannot see my body heat, but people can see me. So the body heat is also not me. The element of fire is also not me. Keep that aside. Element of air. The air that I breathe in and out. Of course that is not me. Keep the element of earth away. Then element of air away. Then the element of space. Our body is made of millions of atoms, and the atoms, the space occupied by the empty space is much, much more than space occupied by the electrons, protons, and neutrons. So this space, majority of a body is just a space. And of course this space is also not me. This space is vacuum in nature. I'm solid in nature. So therefore even this space is also not me. Keep it aside. What is left now? Only the consciousness or the mind is left. Even this mind or the consciousness is also not me. Element of consciousness is not me, because I'm a male, I'm a female. My consciousness does not have the gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. And on top of that, people can see me. People cannot see my consciousness. So therefore even the consciousness is also not me. Keep them aside. What is left now? Nothing is left. Where is this person? This person disappears. Stay in this experience. Now you have discovered that going closer to this object, the person disappears, which means the person is empty on the objective level. Stay in this experience for a while. Now imagine you come out of the practice. You come out of the meditation. Again the person comes back. Again you go into this analysis. Besides the 6 elements, the person is empty. Again, you come out of the meditation. Again, the person comes back. There's a constant change happening. Person appears, disappears, appears, disappears. But on the object, there's no change. All the changes that we talk about is related to the subject. It's just a change of perception. And perception is purely subjective. So whatever is involved with this perception, the changes, the perception is just this subjective. It's just coming from the mind. What's coming from the subject is empty of coming from the object. What's coming from the subject is purely subjective. What is subjective is empty of objectivity, empty of objective existence. Okay, what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Earth, solid part, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Where's this person who's meditating? It's not there, it's empty, it disappears. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, this is the meditation third seal. Amazing. But what's the benefit of this meditation? This meditation, the benefit, the benefit is significance. The benefit of the meditation is enormous. Just as a person disappears, you subject your sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, all these problems you subject to the same analysis which is known as the ultimate analysis. These problems will also disappear. All problems will disappear through this analysis. We realize that these problems also arise subjectively. These problems are totally empty of objective existence. When you subject these to ultimate analysis, we see that they're all empty. Just stay in this experience where all the problems dissolve. Stay in this experience. So this experience where all the problems dissolve, mental disturbance dissolves. You have transcended the mental sorrow. Transcendence of sorrow is absolute peace. This is the fourth seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while, where all your sorrows dissolve. Aspiring to achieve this, attain this state of the transcendence of the sorrow is known as the renunciation. This is the ultimate version, ultimate understanding of what renunciation is. Stay in this experience of a sheer desire to achieve that state of cessation of suffering in the experience of the wisdom of emptiness. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly come out of this practice, come out of this meditation. We are so fortunate. Slowly come out of this practice. Okay. Now we'll switch to the practice of Bodhicitta on the basis of the four immeasurables. Okay. Just a few seconds rest. We'll switch before we switch to the Bodhicitta practice. Okay, ready? Bodhicitta practice, there are two methods. Most of you already know that. There are two methods. Sevenfold cause-effect method and the method of equalizing and exchanging self others. There are two methods. These two are extremely powerful methods. But here in group meditation, we cannot spend time on these two. These two will take a little longer time. So we'll do the Bodhicitta practice on the basis of the four immeasurables. Okay, four immeasurable practice again is the more like analytical. Just try to follow the instructions and see how much we can invoke the respective experience to the best you can. Ready? Okay, reinforce the visualization Buddhas, Bodhisattvas in front of you. They're so kind, so loving. Like your own mother. But when you were age 5, 6, 7, your mother's looking at your eyes so tenderly, so lovingly. This is exactly how the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us and they're taking care of us. Reinforce the visualization of your two parents, all the family members, including children, and all the sentient beings. Here, you are the mother, and all others are like children. You are so loving, so caring, embracing to each and every sentient being. And the purpose of this practice is to invoke the most compassionate, most loving mind of Bodhicitta by eradicating the self-cherishing mind, self-centered attitude. Okay, four immeasurables. The first immeasurable, loving kindness. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness, and the causes of happiness. The causes of happiness such as wealth, the education, good health, and more precisely, the Bodhicitta, unconditional love of Bodhicitta, and the fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the way make such a courageous commitment. They're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to ascend for nectars and very sweet lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. Mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and wings yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness within the minds of sentient beings yourself. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the dear sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance, a self-centered attitude. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing the making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassionate omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and the nectars with the bodies and beings yours washes away all the suffering and the cause of suffering for all dear sentient beings yourself. And you witnessing such miraculous happening towards all the dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Okay, abide in this unconditional love towards all the dear sentient beings, imagining that you are looking at the eyes of each and every sentient being, reassuring them that you are there to take care of each one of them, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. Okay, with folded hands. Let us with folded hands, let us make this Bodhicitta commitment. I'll say this line of commitment and we'll all repeat this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother Sentient beings. In this universe, should there be one mind which is most beautiful, most appealing, this Bodhicitta, so courageous mind of Bodhicitta, which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear Mother Sentient beings, this is the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in this universe. Amazing. Just abide in this experience of Bodhicitta for a while. Slowly visually transform this Bodhicitta mind into a spotlessly clean white moon disk, 1 inch or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting with your heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such a great commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, but how can you become a Buddha? Yes. Squeezing a handful of sand will not give rise to oil. Of course, I'm not like that. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds. Squeezing a handful of sunflower seeds will give rise to oil because there's a seed of oil inside. Likewise, I have the seed of Buddhahood inside, which is known as the Tathagata Garbha, Buddha nature inside me. But how can you make it come out? By removing the mental defilements which are rooted to ignorance and the subtle stains. How? By introducing the counter force. That is, the wisdom of emptiness. Let us quickly retreat the experience of emptiness which we meditated earlier as the third seal, a part of the four seals. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. You are actually consisting of the 6 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. And none of these 6 elements is you. What are you seeing? I'm now seeing the 6 elements. Where is this person? I'm not there. I disappear. Stay in this experience. This experience of the emptiness of objectivism. It doesn't mean that you are not there. You are there, but you are not there objectively. You are there just subjectively. What we're now seeing is that you are not there objectively. You are empty of objective existence. Slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a white vajra, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically sitting on the monastery of the heart. It's amazing. Now you have the moon, which symbolizes the unconditional love of Bodhicitta, which guarantees you that with this will eradicate the self-centered attitude. And you have the Vajra, symbolizing the ultimate Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, which guarantees you that it will eradicate the self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains. Amazing. So that way you are going to be freed from the 2 demons, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, and that your Buddha nature will become manifest. You will be freed from all the miseries. That's amazing. But let us not forget that all your dear sentient beings, your parents, your children, everyone is there who are suffering, still suffering. That's true. Out of incredible love and affection towards all the dear sentient beings, you invoke this Vajra moon at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set of Vajra moon at the heart of your mother. Share one set of Vajra moon at the heart of your father from your side. One set with each one of your family members, including children. One with each one here in India, the animals, the human beings, the gods, the goddesses, spirits, all the beings in India, everyone in the entire world and the entire universe. Now, it's amazing. You have given this Vajra moon to protect them from all the fears of life, to give them the maximum happiness. You have done. It's amazing. Okay, don't forget that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. So loving, so caring, so affectionate. Why not we invite them as our witness, as our guests to our undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, as a gesture of making the invitation, let us slowly, along with all the sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. Okay, if you're comfortable, you can sit on your right knees. If you have no knee problem, sit on your right knees. Okay, let us turn to page 46. page 46 of the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, page 46. What we are doing here is taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, generally speaking, taking any vows, one should be very, very, very careful. For example, taking the proper Bodhisattva vow, you should be really very cautious. Cautious meaning that you should be very prepared. Whereas here, as for Bodhisattva vow, there's no special commitment. This is very simple. This is one thing which is so easy. So easy. There's no special commitment. Only thing that at most that you can keep in mind is that from today onwards, I'll try my best. I'll try my best to be kind towards others to the best I can, and at least I will not harm others. This much, if you can say the commit, that's good enough. Whereas for the actual Bodhisattva vow, which is also known as the engaged Bodhisattva vow, so for that, don't take it very easily until you are very prepared with the practice of Bodhicitta for some time. Only then you can take this practice. Otherwise, you take this vow. Otherwise, be very careful. Whereas this vow, aspirational Bodhisattva vow, no worry, it's very simple. Yet it's so meritorious. This can be the source, like so much of merit, without any problem. Okay, we are very fortunate. So with this in mind, visualize, why not we also give the opportunity to our two parents, to all the family members, including children, to everyone here in Delhi, in India, in the world, in the entire universe. Everyone, all sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, the gods and goddesses, spirits, the hungry ghouls, hell beings, everyone. Imagine they are joining you in this taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And you are given this opportunity. And all the Bodhisattvas are there watching us. With that in mind, the page 46, the last stanza, let's say this 3 times wholeheartedly. And I'm going to explain the meaning very quickly. The meaning must be reflected. If the meaning is reflected, then the benefit is going to be like 1,000-fold, 1,000 times more. In the process of doing this, if you feel painful, then sit comfortably, because with the pain, if your mind is distracted, the whole purpose is defeated. If you start feeling the pain, sit comfortably. The mind must be flowing according to what we are doing. Okay. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the triple gem. So because that this is a very important journey that we're undertaking, this journey must be supported by a very powerful strength. The greatest of the strength that exists in this universe is the 3 jewels. So it says, I go for refuge to the triple gem or the 3 jewels. Then with this journey that we are undertaking, this journey involves 2 things. One is the journey, the road must be very clear. This road is none other than your own mind. Your mind must be clear of the mental obstacles, such as the negative karmas, the negativities, wrong thoughts, and so forth. So we confess the negativities of our mind in order to clear the path to the Buddhahood, the journey towards the Buddhahood. Now the road is very clear, but if your car does not have the energy, if the car does not have the fuel, again we cannot undertake the journey. After the road being clear, then the car should have enough energy. Car should have enough fuel. So the car is none other than our own mind. Our mind should have enough fuel of the merit. Merit accumulation must be there. So the best way by which to accumulate merit enormously with the least effort is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now your road is clear, your car has enough fuel. What are you going to do now? I'm going to take a journey. Journey of what? Journey of enlightenment, journey of full awakening, journey of the manifesting my Buddhahood inside me. I hold, the last line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I'm going to achieve this Buddhahood. Okay, this is a journey. You are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining us. Let's say this 3 times. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, then next 2 lines. You can actually take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow simply through this stanza, which we already read, but we are doing a little detail. We are using the next 2 stanzas as the main ceremony. For that, again, we need to know the meaning. We already invoked the Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Please pay heed to me, this invocation. And then the 2 stanzas. The first stanza pertaining to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, pertaining to the Buddhas, and second stanza pertaining to yourself. The first stanza, how the Buddha Shakyamuni and all these enlightened beings, how they are being so successful in becoming Buddhas now. Many aeons ago, they were as ordinary as what we are today. But they are no more ordinary today. They are fully enlightened. How come did they become enlightened? Okay, they become enlightened for 2 reasons. Number 1, they generated a very strong motivation of bodhicitta. Very strong motivation bodhicitta. They generated a desire to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, number 1. Then number 2, to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, wanting to become Buddha, they then engaged in the bodhisattva practices, bodhisattva deeds. Bodhisattva practices such as 6 perfections and 4 perfections, total 10 perfections. Okay, through these 2, now they become fully enlightened. If this is how they are successful, I will also do the same thing. I will also generate a very strong bodhicitta. I will also, to materialize this aspiration of bodhicitta, I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices. 6 perfections plus 4 perfections. So this is how what we will do, say wholeheartedly 3 times, and during the 3rd repetition, when we say the last 2 lines, and likewise shall I 2 successful for the bodhisattva practices. Imagine that you've received the aspirant bodhisattva vow and feel a great joy over having received this bodhisattva vow. Okay, let's say this 3 times together. Let's not forget to visualize your 2 parents, all the family members, your children, and all sentient beings with you, and all the bodhisattvas, they're watching us. The way the parents, the child, very young child, for the first time in his life, taking part in the public performance, and the parents they left all the jobs, whatever they have, they left them. They come to as a part of the audience, to wave their hands, to tell you that we're here, right? This is how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us over. We, like small children, we are doing this wonderful aspirating ceremony for the aspirant Bodhisattva vow, after all these many aeons, we do this now. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like the 2 parents, they're so proud of what we're doing. They're being watching us with tremendous love and affection. Okay, with that in mind, let's say this 3 times. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Just imagine you have received the aspirant Bodhisattva vow. Just feel the joy, incredible joy. Okay, with this, we have to make a commitment that I'll engage in the generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom, skillfulness, aspiration prayers, power, and discriminatory wisdom. Okay, so what you have done today, this is of all the gifts that you can possibly think of rendering, offering to the sentient beings today, you have given this to all sentient beings. And of all the offerings that you can imagine, think of to make to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, this is offering, this is the greatest offering, and today you did it. It's an amazing day. So all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of you today. They're so proud of you. So with this mind, the incredible, the happiness, the joy, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel, their pride, that they feel over your having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, the Vajramoon at their hearts, in the fully blossomed version, imagine they multiply infinite number of times. And in barrage, like rain shower, they descend. All these replicas of the Vajramoon, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize in your heart. They become non-dual with what you visualize in your heart, blessed and stabilized. Likewise, in Biraj, all the replicas of Vajramoon from the hearts of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with one that you visualize in the heart of your mother, father, each one of family members, your children, everyone here in Delhi, the human beings, the animals, the insects, the spirits, hell beings, hungry ghosts, the gods and goddesses, and all sentient beings in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. Is amazing. This is the greatest gift to all the sentient beings. Today you have given this. This is the greatest offering that will make all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas happy. And today you made it. Amazing. This is all happening. This is the greatest meaning. Should somebody ask you what's the greatest meaning of one's life? This is the greatest meaning of having generated the Bodhicitta, having cultivated this wisdom emptiness, and sharing this with all the demon sentient beings, and receiving the blessing from all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is the greatest meaning of life. Today, you made this happen. Amazing. And this is all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for this, along with all the sentient beings, let us slowly rise up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Okay, please take your seats. Let us now turn to page 47, the second last paragraph, the second last stanza. Let us say this 3 times. We are very fortunate that we came in contact with this practice, this life, but the question still remains, what about next life? So that, to make sure that we become connected with this practice, in the next lives as well, we put them in the form of very powerful prayers. So this is a prayer. Of course, there are many other prayers you can include, but to make it short, we've included this prayer there. We'll say this together 3 times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have loosely seized and awakened a mind in this way shall praise following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, have well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me, is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tied on the path of conditioned existence, is the universal bridge that relieves of freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world, is the quintessence of butter from the journey of the
For all those who are traveling in the path of
who wish to experience the bounties of happiness. This will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temperate and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, so what we do is that now is like the conclusion of the ceremony. Then you'll give. Okay, it's talk offering. Let's make it very short. Let us recite Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. Meanwhile, I will do the consecration of the talk, blessing the talk, and we'll all recite this. Tejala. Yeah. You recite it till I indicate to stop it. Just keep reciting the Om Muni Muni Maha Muni, so invoking the blessings of the Buddha Shakyamuni, pertaining to wisdom of emptiness, and the Bodhicitta, and all the offerings here, which is going to be distributed to all of us in the form of blessings. Let us pray, and let us see that, let us visualize that they are like they dissolve into emptiness, and from the emptiness they arise in the form of, say, the divinely delicacies, the consumption of which will give rise to the state of perfection within yourself, state of wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta and so forth. Okay, while I bless while I do the blessing, Teja will recite. We all recite the Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. Yes.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Ha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. 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 Om Muni 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 Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha 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 Muni Swaha. Om Muni 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 Mahamuni Swaha. Om 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 Muni 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 Swaha. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni 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 Swaha.
Okay, this one. Okay, so this, the first is the symbol of the elixir, ambrosia, and the second is the symbol of the invoking or invoking the cities or the spiritual defeats. Okay, so as you take this, the first you get this the nectar, and you sip it, and as you sip it, you feel the sweetness. So with this, imagine that your body is filled with the bliss of the wisdom of emptiness and compassion. And then with this, you experience the emptiness, how the self, even this bliss is the experience of the emptiness. Likewise, the reason. Okay. Off. Kush. Geshe, come, help. Okay, now the leftover soak. Namkila cup. Okay, you can, from your soak, you eat something, and from the remaining, you leave a part with namkila. Namgila. One is fine. Not all. Namgila, don't just wait till everything is put. Yeah. Bismillah. Son pek dira. Tipişla da rımalı kuş. Yedi. Dişa. Çok beyim. Çok maşirda. Namgila. Super country. Yeah, Bismillah. They turn around it. Didn't too much when I machine to the charging to Corta. Oh, the Shumari, the senior. No, get the visual. This was on. They consider them all. Heal. This to take away. This to take away. Come. Oh. Take away. Chill away. Yes. Okay, so this is for the local spirits. They share. We offer these to them, and meanwhile we will do the anti-action prayer, page 278. While we do the prayers, we pray that all sentient beings get the correct wisdom to see the reality, and because of which they are able to practice compassion for each other, so the wars, terrorism, corruption, all these destructive practices stop and everybody lives in harmony. And then the joy of the study of emptiness bodhicitta spreads everywhere, and everywhere there's a good harvest, that there's no illness, that the already people who are already having illness, they are healed. So this is what we're going to pray. This is what's this. Okay, so we will turn to page 278. Yes, Tejala, say the end prayer. Yeah.
In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrizik Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantha Bhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Jang Job Sem Jogrin Boche Ma Ke Panam Ke Gyurche Ke Panam Pa Me Payam Gong Ne Gong Du Pel Var Shok. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Path of the union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus holder, Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Arya Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Thank you.
Okay, so those of us here who did not get the bracelet last time, you come to get this, and those of you who have already given your share to somebody else, if you're interested, you can also come. Okay, those who did not get should come to get the bracelet. So this bracelet should be a reminder of Bodhicitta. Yeah, come. Okay, those who did not get before, you can come. Those who have already, somebody has already taken away your share, you can also come. Come. Avalok, come. Avalok, come.
Geshe Only if you use it.
Huh?
They might not use it, so I'm warning them they should take only if they use it.
No, they will use it. Yeah, yeah. They, of course, Geshe. Yes, yes.
Yeah. I got it last time.
Okay.
Last
아니.
이 종목이야.
Okay. Just the boom 가서.
젠나무.
세례나무 just the. Your name?
랑조.
런중도 만났어. Okay. Okay, that's it. No, so basically it's a reminder of the bodhicitta. You can put it on the wrist, and you can use it for reciting your mantras. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme. And if you would like to use it as to count, what do you call it? The instrument to count? Counter. You want to use this as a counter, then you put a mark, extra mark here, to say that this is whatever numbers. In some cases like 21, in some cases 22, just count it once, right? Then you can use that as a counter. Yeah. Okay.